Hi, I'm Patrick Mason. I'm a professor who teaches about peace, but I'm still learning what it means to be a peacemaker. In this series, one of the themes we've been exploring is exile and return. What does it feel like to be in exile, to be alienated from one another? And then how do we return? How do we restore those relationships that we care about? One of my favorite scriptures about this comes in Psalm 85, where the children of Israel have been in exile. They've suffered, they've been wandering, they've been lost, but God promises them peace. And in this beautiful verse, he says that mercy and truth have met together, justice and peace have kissed. And I love this image of mercy and truth and justice and peace all coming together. And I think that's the very definition of reconciliation. That's what return means. We all believe in mercy. We all believe in truth. We all believe in justice. We all believe in peace. And I think the work of peace building is finding a way for us to bring all of those values that we believe in and that we want to bring them into harmony in our lives and in the way that we relate to others. So if truth and mercy and justice and peace, if these are the ingredients that add up to reconciliation, to return, what would it mean for me in my conflict to bring these values to the table? What would it mean for me to be honest, to be true about my role in the conflict? What would it mean for me to think about showing mercy to somebody else, the kind of mercy that can allow them to turn towards me, even when we've hurt each other? What would it mean for me to think about justice? Not in a way of retribution or how can I exact vengeance on another person, but actually in terms of thinking about what is needed. What do I need to bring to this in order to make it right, to make it just? And how can I create the space for the other person to do the same? What is it like for me to create the conditions where I'm really, truly at peace with this person, where I see them in their dignity, I see them as a person, and I create the kind of relationship that can withstand conflict, not avoid it? It's so easy to lose hope in the middle of a conflict, to feel like you're never gonna get out of it, to feel like you're just stuck. I think one of the most important characteristics of a peace builder is their ability to hold on to hope. Martin Luther King used to say that the moral arc of the universe is long, but it bends towards justice. And that, I think, is exactly what hope is. Hope is a belief that the universe is wired for justice. It's wired for love. It's wired for compassion. So recently, I traveled to Africa, to a country called Rwanda. In 1994, Rwanda experienced the worst genocide since World War II. There were two major ethnic groups there, one called the Hutus and the other called the Tutsis. In 1994, the Hutus spent 100 days from April until July massacring Tutsis all around the country. And in only 3 months, 1 million people were killed. Nobody in the country was unaffected. Everybody either was or was related to a perpetrator or a victim or was a survivor of the horrible things that happened there. I was interested not only in learning more about what had happened in 1994, but I was interested in what had happened in the 30 years since. How is it that a country, that a society that has gone through such devastation, through such atrocities, unspeakable things that brought me to tears, all I could do was just weep at some of these places where the genocide occurred. How is it that they can move forward? How is it that they can find some kind of restoration, some kind of reconciliation? And the people who touched my heart the most were a number of women that I met. And these are women who had been victims themselves, oftentimes of sexual assault and rape. These are women who had lost husbands, who had lost children, oftentimes lost homes. They'd lost everything. But one of the traditional crafts in Rwanda is basket weaving. This is a particular design. It's called a peace basket. And you can see it's this beautiful, tight weave of reeds. And one of the things that the women did as they worked through their trauma, as they told their stories, was to sit and to weave, to create. And these women that I met talked about how important it was, even in the midst of all that they had lost, was to create something. And so when I look at this basket, when I look at this beautiful object, it's not just a basket. It's a symbol of people who have lost so much, who've endured real trauma, real harm, real pain, but who are still working to create something beautiful. So as we close this series about peacemaking, and as we think about all of the stories that we've heard, all the lessons that we've learned, I want to end with an invitation to you to think about the conflicts in your life, to think about the things that you wish were better, the relationships that you wish were more whole. And I want you to think about those women in Rwanda and to think about what it means to create in the face of loss. What would it mean for you to weave your own basket of peace? What would it mean for you to come out with an eye of hope? In a world full of conflict, peacemakers are desperately needed. We invite you to take the first step on the journey, not to avoid conflict, but to embrace it, and to find on the other side reconciliation, change, hope, love, and peace.